And now, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit on second generation dashboards. And they're notorious for cracking. This one is cracked. This is one of those covers you can buy that you just throw over the top of it basically to hide the cracks. And it was like $150 or something, but I mean, it doesn't completely fit right. You're supposed to glue it down. It comes with silicone that you use to glue it down, and it might help to take the screws out up here and actually run the screw through the cover rather than just covering up. Especially if you're going to glue this down, make sure you run the screws through the cover, because otherwise you'll have this glued over it and that'll cover up the screws, and then you won't be able to take the dash out without tearing that cover off if you got to get at your heater core or something like that. So anyway, I put that on there, covered it up, decided I didn't really like it, and I was just going to replace the whole top of the dash. So that's what I'm going to do here. If you want to just take the easy route and cover it up, you can see that that's what they're like. Here's my replacement dash top from a parts yard. And on this side you can see they don't really do a great job of trimming out the hole for the defrost vent, and this one had a little crack in the corner when I got it. So anyway, I'm going to take that off and get down to the real dash. Okay, I got that cover off, so you can see the factory dash here is, you know, there's worse ones out there, but it's shot. So to start changing it, there's a screw on each side you got to take out, and then a screw on each side of the cup holder. And then that pulls off. Take the ashtray out, screw on each side of that metal thing for the ashtray. Take that guy out, and then you got to flip the steering column all the way down, and this guy just pulls off. You got to unplug your lighter and the plug for the power outlet, and then you take that whole thing off, and then you can start to see the screws that hold the top of the dash on. Those are the easy ones. Another thing you got to do is this plastic trim down here. Take all the screws out of there, take that guy off, so you can get at this bolt down here below the dash. And so I'm going to get that part taken off, and you also got to take out this 5 screws that are on the top of the dashboard, so I'll get them taken out. Okay, so I got the dash bezel off. You also got to take the knee bolster off. There's 5 screws, 1 there, 1 over there, and 3 along the bottom. And that guy just comes right off. Then there's 2 10mm nuts that hold the steering column up. You got to take both of those nuts off and drop the steering column down. If you got a power seat, it helps put the seat all the way down and back for doing this. And I got the screws out of the top of the dash, and now on this side you don't need to take off this lower trim, because you can get to the nut back. There's a bolt that holds the bottom of the dash on without taking that off. I know you can't see it, it's too dark, but anyway. So now, next step, get the steering column lowered. And once you loosen those 2 bolts down there and unbolt the steering column, the whole dash is pretty much loose, so you can tip it ahead and take out all the screws that you can see holding the top on there. And then you got to get back to the fun ones and unscrew all of there's a screw on each side of the defrost vent. I'll get to that later, and the other screws hidden back there. Also, if you have a 4-wheel drive with a 5-speed, put it into 4 low and shift it into, 2nd or 4th or something, so the lever's down, so you can pivot the dash down. There's 1 more screw right down there that I guess you should take out. But anyway, I guess maybe I can, yeah. Also, take off this little cover down here that says SRS equipped on it. That covers up that guy there, which is your airbag controller, so don't smash it with a hammer or anything. So this is about as far as you need to get it back. and unhook the little defrost tube on the corner here. And then there's, like I say, there's a screw on the bottom of each vent. It's about, I can get at them with the camera, but you can feel them, and you got to take those 4 screws out, and so that way the defrost vents are separate from the dash top. Or to make it easy, since this dash is shot and brittle anyway, you can just, you know, grab the leading edge of it and kind of pull it back, and it'll just crack off all the vents easy enough. Okay, with the front edge broke off, it's really easy to get in there to those last screws on the defrost vent. Once you got the ones out of the face of it, you just kind of pull it back and take it off. And there's basically the easy half of it. There is one screw that's kind of in the center here that you'll have to take out for the other side. Now, on this side, you can see kind of hidden under here, there's a row of screws, which are right on the back side of it right here, that you got to get at. And if you got some kind of a flex drive thing on your drill, you could probably get in there with that. Otherwise, if you pull this wiring harness out and take a screw out there, and then you can pull the air duct back and kind of get in there a little bit better with a screwdriver. Either you really can't do it with this size of a screwdriver. Either you need a real stubby one or a real long one, and squeeze your arm in there if you can with a stubby one, or run a long one up from down here under the air duct once you pull that back. But anyway, back to getting them screws out. Okay, so I took the screw out here, and then if you pull the air duct back, you can tuck the corner of the air duct under this metal bracket, and that'll hold it back. And I got my screwdriver there that comes up and goes under the air duct to the screws on the back. So I'm going to get them out. And so, with a little assistance from my flexi screwdriver, get this side off. And now, here's where I was saying I tucked the corner of this air duct under this metal brace. Now, sometimes there's these 3 metal tabs here that there's a little spot on the bottom of there where there's a plastic tab that'll be melted on the, like the tab sticks through here, and it's like melted over on the back, so you'll have to get behind there with a utility knife or something and cut that plastic off so you can get it loose from the metal bracket. But anyway, so here's the one I'm going to replace that one with, and it seems these little rubber filler guys that go along the side of it always fall off, so I'm going to stick them back on with some automotive grade double stick tape and then get this one in. But one thing you gotta note is that the VIN tag is on this plastic cover, so you'll have to take the tag off of the dash you put out or take out and put it onto the dash that you're going to put in. Otherwise, you might have to have a law officer asking you questions about why your VIN number doesn't match the vehicle. So, time to switch that VIN tag. Okay, this is pretty easy to do. Just get yourself a socket. This one is a 9/32, that's big enough where the rivet head will fit inside of it, and small enough where it stays on the metal tag on there. So then, take a pair of pliers or whatever you want to call it, and you put that socket so the rivet has somewhere to go, and then you squeeze it kind of like so. It'll push the rivet head up, and then you just take your pliers again, and you can get a grip on the head of the rivet, kind of gently twist it and pull it out. And then I'm going to do the same thing with the other rivet. Now to install the vent tag on your new dash, all you have to do is line the rivets up, put the socket on the bottom this time so the base of the rivet has somewhere to go, and then use your pliers again and push the rivet in. I would do it, but I need both hands and one's holding the camera right now. Okay, got that rivet started, so I'm going to put the socket under it, take the pliers, and it's just that easy. Now you got the tag on this dash. So now before I put the new dash in, I got to go through here where I just broke it off of the defrost vents and take the screws out with this little hunk of plastic that's still on it, so that way I can screw them into the new dash. Okay, I got the new quote-unquote dash going in, and I can see it's, I don't know, it doesn't quite match the old one, but at least it isn't cracked. And when you're putting the screws back in for the defrost vents, you can see on each side, but the center, if you look through the slot where the cup holder goes, and then you reach around the front of the dash with the screwdriver, you can see where the screw hole is, kind of, to get the screws in. And finally, it's all back together. No cracks.